So, before we begin, I will address the elephant in the room. Where have I been? I've been gone for a month and a half, something like that. Anyways, no need to worry. Nothing too crazy. The answer is I'm poor. I'm very poor and I couldn't afford the editing tool. That's the long and short of that. So I'm back. Yay, I finally got some funds, so I can continue filming.
I would have told them space communists.
No, the real answer is I'm incredibly poor. You know, I'm sure some of you can relate, but...
No, space communists.
Space communists. I'm gone because of Anyways.
See, they've gotten to her.
So, and a big shout out to Microsoft for completely screwing my webcam. So, thank you, Microsoft. You've been a real pal. So if in this review I can't actually seem to remember fine details, it's because I just spent the last 30 odd minutes fiddling around with my computer and reverting it back to a previous state because my webcam was completely inoperable. Don't speak.
This is not an Apple endorsement.
It's not an Apple endorsement. But at the same time, wow, Microsoft, you didn't test a single webcam with your new update? Bad form. Very bad form. So, this episode is the one we've all been waiting for. We've waited an entire season for this. Megatron Rising, Part 1. I cannot remember exactly what episode number this is. I think like 15 or something. But this was kind of everything I wanted and more, in that it was a very large sort of ensemble cast. A bunch of new characters were coming back. Things were revealed finally. And of course, the big one, Megatron got his body back. You know, I wore my Megatron hat for this. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there. So, it starts off pretty typically, I guess. Professor Sumdac brings Megatron's body back, and Megatron is being, you know, his usual obvious villain self, and Professor Sumdac is still, you know, oblivious.
Is there some kind of malfunction?
Until the power comes back on, the entire tower is being run by our emergency generator. Apparently it can't take the overload.
Then shut the rest of the building down. Nothing is more important than these upgrades. Do you hear me, human? Nothing!
He quickly becomes not oblivious after things get revealed. There's a reason that we don't see Megatron's body right away in the episode, and that's the sort of like drawing it out for a big reveal and stuff like that. But basically Megatron's body gets brought to Sumdac Labs and Professor Sumdac is working on it, and then the power goes out. And I believe we find out that it was Sorry that caused this power outage. And so because of Sorry's continuous irresponsible use of the Allspark key, Optimus is finally like, we gotta take it. And okay, they present this as though Optimus Prime is being like a huge jerkwad, like, oh, like he doesn't trust Sorry, and oh, that's just terrible, and she's done so much for the team, and she's a part of the team, Optimus, why don't you understand? That's good leadership right there. That's a good leadership decision. I don't care how sorry that frickin' 9-year-old was. She can't have the power of the Allspark in her hands. It's ludicrous. But then, because they framed it in a bad way, of course it immediately goes to pot. Lugnut, Blitzwing, and Starscream show up, and if we remember from last time Starscream, Lugnut, and Blitzwing showed up, Starscream had revealed himself to them and declared himself supreme ruler of the Decepticons, and this can't last. We know it can't last. But there's some funny scenes with Lugnut, who Megatron is like, all right, well, the power is out and I can't get my body back. The Allspark key can clearly help me. Who can do this? Lugnut. And I don't know why he didn't think of that sooner, because the Allspark key's been around for a while. Lugnut's been around for a while. I guess the only part he was missing was his body, really.
They have to fill a full season.
They have to fill a full season. No, in retrospect, he was probably correct to wait because Sumdac only now found his body. So, you know, just disregard everything I just said there. So what happens is Starscream is talking to Lugnut and declaring himself supreme ruler, and Megatron starts projecting into Lugnut's head, like, hey bro, I need you to go get this Allspark key, and Lugnut's all like, oh, supreme leader, like, at last you are here, like, I'm so glad, and Starscream's all like, well, thank you, you know, like, he's clearly not used to getting that sort of respect, but, it becomes revealed to Starscream that at least Lugnut thinks Megatron is alive. And so Starscream's all like, all right, well, you go and get the Allspark key and I'll go and investigate this Megatron thing, right? So at this point, Ratchet has the Allspark, and it's a really kind of sad, pathetic thing that Lugnut and Blitzwing kind of just come, immediately disable this poor old guy and take the Allspark key, like right away. There was no battle, there was no nothing, it was kind of sad. So they have the Allspark key. And then it's really difficult to sort of tell this in a narrative, but Sari runs off crying and encounters Black Arachnia, and she does nothing this episode. She just kind of pops up to be like, hey guys, remember Black Arachnia? She's still a thing, and she's still trying to get her original body back, which, you know, that's like, what, the third person this season that's trying to get their body back?
Where have we heard that before?
Where have we heard that before? So, Black Arachnia's in the picture, and the Dinobots are kind of in the picture. It becomes revealed to Optimus Prime and the rest of the Autobots that, oops, Prowl was kind of keeping this whole Dinobot on an island thing secret, so they actually go off to recruit the Dinobots' help, Prowl, Optimus, and Bulkhead, only for the Dinobots to kind of be a little resistant to that whole prospect, and they transform from Optimus Prime, and Optimus Prime is all like, what the heck, guys? And he's just feeling like a terrible leader, which he kind of is. But back to the matter at hand. Starscream then goes to Sumdac Towers and encounters Megatron's head and is like, oops, and he kind of tries to play off like, oh, Supreme Leader, how lovely it is to see you alive. I'm so shocked. And Megatron, he knows that Starscream betrayed him, so he did this like kind of funny but lame thing where he was all like, oh, I'll show him what happens when he messes with me. And then he takes his like weird little claw hands that he's been controlling telepathically or whatever, and he like grabs Starscream and flings him out of Sumdac Towers, and then Blitzwing and Lugnut show up, and this was the scene I've been waiting for all season. It was like damn near orgasmic how they drew this shit out, cause Lugnut, I believe, or sorry, it was Blitzwing, presents Megatron with the Allspark key, plugs it into his little head, and he just gets his body back. It's so good. But yeah, they really drew that scene out, and they actually, they got a bit of a menace going, you know what I mean? Like, they got a lot of character reactions, especially Optimus Prime's reaction, and they did the thing with the close-up of the eyes, and you can see the fear in Optimus's eyes, and Megatron just looks freaking awesome. He's got this, like, gray and crimson thing going on, which is different from how he looked originally, so not quite sure why that is, but it was almost worth the wait. It wasn't quite worth some of those filler episodes, but that was a good scene. Transformers Animated has not necessarily been great at building good atmosphere and building decent tension, but that scene was, you could feel that the importance of what was happening. You could feel like, oh shit, Megatron is back. Like, this is when things start to change. This episode is what you would call a game changer.
Well, like, if I remember at the beginning, the Autobots, as we know them, like, in this series, weren't they just, like, basically a cleanup crew, like, fixing things around the galaxy, and the Decepticons were, like, exiled war criminals who had a reputation of war crimes and and brutality, basically?
No, what happened was the Autobots were space bridge technicians.
Right.
And yeah, the war had happened, and yeah, so they were kind of like exiled war criminals, the Decepticons. So yeah, you kind of have to imagine it's like this inexperienced space bridge crew. Most of them are like quite young, actually. I think Ratchet's really the only senior member among them, and suddenly, like, Megatron, the Megatron, like, who haunts their nightmares and their legends, is, like, suddenly there. So, yeah, it was good. I like that. I like that scene. I could rewind that backwards and keep watching it. It was good.
Well, wasn't Ratchet like the only one to actually have seen combat out of that entire crew?
Ratchet was the only actual combatant of the war. Yes. Yeah. As we learned in that one flashback episode.
Right.
So total game changer, man. Like, from here, things are gonna start getting a little bit rough for the Autobots. I feel like this season, probably next episode, because this is a two-parter, so things are probably going to go down next episode, and I'll probably do a bit of a season 1 retrospective and just kind of be like, you know, where we started off, where we ended up, depending on how I feel. But yeah, Megatron's got his body back. The Autobots now, all of them know that the Dinobots are a thing. Optimus is definitely feeling the pressure of leadership and the pressure of not being an adequate leader, which is a really interesting twist from... I know that other Optimuses have sort of questioned their leadership capabilities, but a lot of them haven't really had the cause to question like this Optimus does, because this Optimus is genuinely inexperienced and genuinely not necessarily up for the challenge. So it's going to be interesting seeing where he goes from here and how he progresses. Did I mention Black Arachnia? Black Arachnia is back. Yeah, so all of these elements have finally come together, and next episode, Megatron Rising Part 2, is the finale of Season 1, and it's good, guys. It's good, guys. We're finally back on a roll. And I'm back, so yay.
Yay.
Yay. I don't know. Maybe you're just kind of like, fuck it. Anyways, so stay tuned next episode where we will be talking about Megatron Rising Part 2, and hopefully it's going to be freaking awesome and lots of battles, and I'm super excited. So until next time, goodbye.